Hey YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin. If you're new here, if you're not, thank you for stopping back by. Today is a timely video because I want to talk about retirement savings and where I'm at, mostly because my company made a change to our 401k plans, so I thought it was a good idea to hop on and talk about that a little bit as we head into the new year. So I would like to start with what is maxing your match. So if you have a retirement account at your company and somebody is always yelling at you on TikTok to max your match, I'm here to tell you what that means. Basically, it means that whatever amount your company is willing to put into your account, you have to do the steps it takes to get that full amount, max your match. So, for example, my company offers a 5% match. So, the steps I have to take to maximize that 5%, get the most I can, is I have to put in 5%. So out of my paychecks, I tell them, take out 5% of my check pre-tax and put it in my 401k. And then they do the same thing. They put the same amount in. And that means for me, I think it's somewhere in the 150 per check is what goes in, or it's 130 maybe. So that's maxing your match. If your match is set up differently, some companies do a 10% match on the first X amount you put in, or like if it says like 50% match, it's probably saying like 50% on the first 10% you put in. So really it's only 5%. They word it in like really weird ways. So you'll really have to get with HR or your manager or somebody to find out for sure what your policy is. But for mine, I get 5%. And then the other thing to know about retirement accounts is when they are vested, meaning when does the money that your company put in, not money that you put in, the company matched, when does that money become your money? Because it's not always immediately. So for my company, all the money that I put in out of my checks is mine from day one. But the money that they put in technically is not mine until I have been with the company for 3 years. So 2 things to know about your retirement accounts, if you have one through your company, is how much are they matching? What do you need to do to max that match? And also, when does that match become your money? And it matters because if you leave the company before it's your money, you're leaving it behind. You don't get to keep it. So that's what's important to know. And with that, I bring it up because my company made a change this year. And after 3 years of employment, they are bumping our 401k match up to 6%. So I have actually been with my company longer than 3 years, which means my match is going from 5 to 6%, which is just fantastic. So I thought it'd be good to hop in and kind of give you guys an update on where I'm at with retirement savings and what my planning is for 2023. So first off, I will say that I have several accounts. So I have a 401k, a Roth IRA, an after-tax brokerage account, and an HSA that I consider retirement savings. So all of those accounts, the balances are shown here. So in my 401k, I am right around 22,000. And then for my Roth IRA, I'm hovering around 3,200. And my after-tax brokerage is right around $300, not 1,000 or anything, is really low. And then my HSA is hovering around 3,100 as well. That one I did have to spend out of recently, so that sucks, but it's okay. It's what it's for. I'm not someone who's like die hard, don't spend your HSA. I try not to, but it happens. So with that, I will hop over to the section that shows the contributions. So this is what I plan to put in. So in 2023, I'll be putting in my 6%, which will be $156.92 per check, and then the company will also put that in. And you can see it broken out here. Did I put it in there wrong? Oh yeah, 92. Yeah, 92. So you can see it broken out here, what that looks like. So like I said, for me, maxing my match means I put in 6% and they'll put in 6%. It could be different for you. You might put in 6%, they put in 3%. So you never know. So just figure that out for yourself before 2023 starts. And then for my Roth 401k, which is also through my employer, I'm not putting anything in there. I put all of my money in pre-tax. Next, for my Roth IRA in 2023, I'm going to be putting in $300 per month, not biweekly. And that is because I don't have the money to do more than that. But yeah, so $300 a month for Roth IRA. And then after tax brokerage, I'm hoping to put in $100 a month there. and HSA, it'll be $25 biweekly. So this all adds up quite a bit. And I actually have a box over here that I track how much that actually adds up to. So when you add that all up, so 2 employer contributions, 2 HSA contributions because it's biweekly, 2 company matches, and 1 Roth IRA here. And that actually doesn't include my brokerage in this little box just because it's technically, like, you can use it before retirement, so I didn't put it in here, but that brings me to technical retirement account savings to $977 per month, which is great. And then on 3 paycheck months, that ends up being $1248 because there's 2 months a year when you're paid biweekly that you get 3 checks. And so for the total for the year, it ends up being $12,359 that I plan to put into my retirement accounts. So that's pretty great. And then you guys can kind of see this just for the funsies. I do this every year, the same little box every year. And I did it for the last 3 years, but the first 2 years I was working and had these accounts, I didn't keep track. So I do have to go back and figure out what I was putting into my HSA at the time. I think it was really low. It was probably still $25, but I don't know for sure. So I'm going to go back and check that. But yeah, so I know how much I was doing per month in all of those years, and it's definitely been increasing. So my first year on the job, I was putting in about 300, maybe 350 a month, moving that up to like 4, almost 500 a month. And then in 2021, when I really started tracking, it was 613 a month. And now in 2022, I was roughly 790 a month. And then moving along, now I'm looking at 977 next year. Something to note about these boxes, though, is that it didn't account for raises. So if I got raises, it was more than what these said. And for a couple of those years, it ends up being more. These are just projections. I don't update them through the year. They're just something I do in December to see what it's going to look like next year, and that's it. I don't go back and look at them and track how much I put in because I track that elsewhere. So anyway, it looks like next year I'll be able to put in $977 per month, which is great. And that is important because there's all these like calculators, all these personal finance YouTubers have said like, this is how much you need to put in starting at 25 in order to be a millionaire, blah, blah, blah. And actually one of them did 2 million. So in order to hit $2 million in my retirement account, I would have to put $881 a month starting at 25. And I kind of did that. So yeah, last year I was putting in 790, and then now I'm putting in 977. So that evens out to roughly that amount. And so I'm looking at hopefully 2 million later in life. But that brings me to the last thing we can talk about is, am I on track to retire when I want to? If you've been here long enough, you know I don't want to work forever, and I definitely don't want to work till I'm 60. So I kind of try to touch base with myself and make sure I'm on track usually, but basically my philosophy is just keep investing more and eventually you'll get there. So am I on track? Let's see. I have a few assumptions. I assume that I would need to take out 3.3% to be conservative out of my retirement investments to live on. So I also assume that I'll be debt-free outside of my mortgage when I retire, which better be true, goodness. And then I assume a 2.5% average annual inflation, which brings it to 37.5 for 15 years. So that would bring me to, if I wanted to live on essentially $50,000 a year of today's money, I would need to pull out and be able to use $68,750 in retirement. So that's somewhere around 2 million. Now this is if I were to fully retire and completely live on it. And I think if I retire at 40, like I'm not going to just never make any more money again. So I'm looking at more of like a coaster, like barista type of fire at some point. So anyway, moving along, I did a calculation for each account. I used the Smart Asset Investment Calculator to see where I could possibly be in X amount of years based on the starting balances that I have right now and how much I'm contributing right now. So that does not account for increases in contributions over time when my income goes up. So it's looking pretty good. In the next 14 years, so by the time I'm 40, my accounts should total somewhere around $430,000 invested. And then after 20 years, so when I'm 45, it's looking like 735-ish thousand. And then we'll break $1 million by 50. So I do have a long way to go if I actually wanted to retire at 40, but it's looking really good for retiring around 50, especially when you consider that my investments will grow. Like I will not be only putting in what I'm putting in now each month forever. I'll be increasing the amounts each year. And so likely I will be looking really good at 50, much better than 1.1 million. So that is where I am at. with retirement, and I hope you guys heed my words and figure out how much you need to max your match, and make sure that if you do have the opportunity to invest in a 401k or some sort of retirement account through work, try to take advantage of it. And if you don't, open a Roth IRA and start investing as soon as you can, even if it's only a little bit.